for a long time as well, I was reading only a handful of authors. So like Mori Hiroshi, Murakami
Hmm.
Haruki. I was reading only their books,
Yeah.
and eventually I kind of wanted to kind of venture out and find new writers, especially female writers, because I hadn't really read a lot of female fiction. So
Hmm.
that's kind of pushed me to read kind of wider range of stuff, but tends to be in the 300-page mark,
Yeah. And
I
that,
think.
so you can get through a couple of those each month usually. You're at the
Yeah,
point
yeah,
where,
yeah.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
great.
There was a time when I was trying to read a novel a week.
Wow.
I kind of
Okay.
wanted to push myself to do that, and
Yeah.
like I did manage to keep it up for maybe a couple of months,
Hmm.
but after a while, I was like, okay, I gotta scale it back a bit. But I
Sure.
mean, I learned a lot from doing that and kind of build up kind of stamina for reading. But yeah, not sustainable.
Yeah. And so are you, it sounds like you're doing all physical copies. Do you ever do anything digital?
I do read a lot of digital stuff actually. I like going to bookstores and buying physical books. I think it's easier to find like discover stuff um, in a bookstore, like looking at physical books, just picking them up. But if there's a writer that I know I like,
Hmm.
or a book that I know is supposed to be interesting or people have recommended, I will probably pick them up on Kindle, just because
Hmm.
it's very easy to pack a lot of books in one device to just carry around with you.
Sure.
Um, it's good for reading at nighttime as well, because if I want to read in bed, then it's got a nice backlight and a paper white, so
Yeah.
it's good for that too, and
Awesome.
also for study. So maybe we'll talk about it later, but
Hmm.
for like highlighting and like
Yeah.
extracting sentences and things, and also for looking up vocabulary on the fly with a pop-up dictionary, it's really, really good for study as well. So,
Yeah, no, that's a good transition, I think. Like, at what point in your studies did you read your first novel? Like, how long did it take?
ooh,
I know that you started basically self-studying around 2011, 2012. So,
hmm,
and you're at the point now where you can read, a novel a week if you wanted to, or
yeah,
you had the time. Where how long did it take to get to the point where you felt
to get
comfortable?
to that point. I think probably I didn't read my first like real novel until I had moved to Japan, and even then like a year after I got here, so
Hmm.
2015, I
Okay.
guess. So 3 years.
Okay.
But I mean, I had read, like, I'd started reading quite early in my
Hmm.
studies, like with graded readers, um, and manga, like really easy manga
Hmm.
as well. And maybe one or two light novels on my iPhone at the time.
Oh,
Just
nice.
because, that was kind of a slog with like the dictionary and just like checking everything essentially.
Yeah.
So it was pretty slow going. So after that, I kind of stopped trying to read novels for a while. But yeah, once I moved to Japan and I had a bit more exposure, um, I was in a bookstore and saw a book that looked interesting, kind of flicked it open, and I realized I could read a fair amount of it.
Hmm.
So I thought, oh, okay, I'll try and give this a go.
Do you remember
So
what was that first one that you read all the way through?
yes, yes, I do. It was Subete ga Effeni Naru. It's a mystery novel by Mori Hiroshi.
Okay.
And so the reason I picked it up is because there was a drama on TV. It's one of the first dramas I watched on TV after I moved here. And I loved the drama.
Hmm.
And then I was in a bookstore and saw the actors, they do like the
Yeah.
special drama cover.
Yeah.
So I saw the actors on the cover. I was like, what? It's from a novel. So, and I picked it up. I was like, okay, I'm going to read this. So I kind of decided on the spot and bought
Nice.
it.